his... Like, I respect Steven Spielberg. Like, especially if you go back to movies like Jaws and stuff like that. His stuff doesn't seem to hit the way it used to.
No. Like, Ready Player One, I don't know if you saw that. Because I didn't.
Not that I wasn't interested. I was interested at first, but the hype for that died down for me before the movie ever came out, so I just never got to the theater. So, he used to be a lot better at marketing his movies.
Yeah.
Ready Player One, while it should have felt like the perfect time for that movie to come out with VR and everything being as big as it is, it felt like 20 years too late.
I can see that.
Just because I don't know, because it almost felt like it was hitting on the same points as like a 1984 type of inspiration, where the government controls everything sort of deal. And I could be completely off base because I haven't seen the movie, but it just didn't feel like the right time. And honestly, like, I feel if you release it in like 2 years from now in the future, it could honestly do as good as it would have 20 years ago.
Okay.
Just because of the theories that everyone puts out there, especially if you listen to people like Joe Rogan.
Is he talking about that?
Oh, he talks about like entertainment, like taking over stuff like that, sort of. Not like listening to some of his theories, especially when he has dudes like Eddie Bravo on. It's hard to follow. It seems like somebody was smoking something a little more than marijuana that day. So, I don't know exactly where Steven Spielberg went wrong in his movie making though. It definitely makes you miss movies like E.T.
Yeah, it's got to the point where like when he releases a movie, like there's not this kind of same excitement for it as like Quentin Tarantino or Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
That's the crazy part, because he was on such a high level for so long.
Oh yeah.
It almost feels like he was doing too many things at once to where people just got too used to him being around. Whereas the last movie I remember before The Irishman that Scorsese did was Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
Has he done anything since then?
The last one?
Because that was what, 2012?
12.
Yeah, so that would make it an 8-year break. It feels more like an event when guys like that do movies.
I have to fact check that.
Because Hateful Eight was the last one before Once Upon a Time, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so, and that one was 2013, 14?
15.
15?
Yeah.
So, these guys spacing out their movies make them feel more like events and make you want to show up. And I think that's one of the big draw factors for those directors.
Definitely. And let's see. I was going to look at his filmography because I want to fact check that. Feature narrative films. Silence. I forgot about that one.
What was
Andrew
that?
Garfield. Liam Neeson, where he's a priest and then he goes to Japan to try to convert them to Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot that he was involved in that at all.
Yeah, that was like his passion project.
Okay.
And it didn't really do that.
But even then, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
So...
Yeah, still breaks, and Steven Spielberg is kind of like... I can compare it to, like, music, right? I can compare it, Steven Spielberg, to Drake in a way where Drake's constantly releasing stuff. There's no breaks in between. And Kendrick and J. Cole, like, have huge-ass breaks between albums.
Yeah. No, for sure, because Damn was 18? 2018?
17.
Was it 17? Damn. Damn. Not a good pun, but still. And KOD was 18.
Yeah, and these guys, they like have those breaks, and I wouldn't say people like forget about them, but they can do that. They can go away and all of a sudden just drop out of nowhere, and they're gonna be huge.
Well, I think good evidence of that is Eminem just dropped Music to Be Murdered By.
Yeah.
It seems like he's been doing a thing that's about every 2 years now. Yeah. But I think the big thing that's helping him, which you can't do with movies because it would destroy a movie, surprise release.
Yeah.
That has been like his biggest, because you don't give it time to be destroyed by critics, which has been his biggest downfall, because PC culture says no.
Yeah. Ever since Recovery, the criticism has been coming more and more, honestly.
Yeah, but the weirder part is you go back to literally Slim Shady LP.
Yeah.
Which is multiple times platinum now.
Uh-huh.
And the original reviews for it were awful. Now you look at like modern reviews and people are praising it because it's like a masterclass. Yeah. Retrospect is the worst thing when it comes to art. Mm-hmm. It can add value, but it feels very matter of fact and like almost trying to go with trends.
Right.
When you have someone go back to something 20 years later and be like, oh, you should give it another chance. And
I feel like that's how some horror movies are too, like the ones that they consider like cult classics, which is another word for saying, well, it wasn't like very commercially or critically acclaimed, but there's
it bombed at the theater, but
but there's a group of people who like it. But so like a lot of Rob Zombie movies are considered cult classics, like Devil's Rejects, the Halloween remake. I was that too.
I was gonna say that series was probably one of my favorite horror movies. Franchises, the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, but that most recent one,
it was super cartoony.
It was, and it didn't fit the way the other two did.
It didn't hit right, man. Like, because House of a Thousand Corpses in a way is like cartoony and kind of out there, but then Devil's Rejects is like super eerie and dirty and like it feels real.
It feels metal. It feels like. It does feel very dirty.
Yeah.
I think another one of the things that hurt it is you're missing Tiny.
Yeah.
Because the actor died in real life.
Yeah.
And then you were only able to use Captain Spaulding for a short period of time because he was on his last leg. Yeah. And it's because he was on his last leg and he died before the movie actually released. Sid Haig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just like because when I watch Devil's Rejects, even now, like I get like an uneasy feeling at some certain points in the movie, and 3 from Hell, I was just like. Yeah. It was like, okay.
The only thing that I wish they would have done something with in Devil's Rejects is after House of a Thousand Corpses, I don't remember seeing Dr. Satan ever again.
No, he's not. I'm like, really? Yeah, he was like a cool character.
Right? Like, he looked menacing.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of characters disappear from all of those movies each time, and then you have random ones pop up where you're like, where did you come from? Yeah. The other dude with the beard at the beginning of Devil's Rejects did not connect with me at all. I don't remember where he was. The dad or grandpa or whatever disappeared from House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah. Inconsistent storytelling, but still very interesting. I can watch anything Rob Zombie does.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, that's a lie. I turned off Lords of Salem towards the end because I felt super uncomfortable.
I actually like that movie a lot. It's like his one artsy ass movie.
It definitely is, and I did go back and finish it, but I was at a moment in my life where I was like, this just feels.
It didn't hit right.
It felt dirty. I was like I maybe I shouldn't describe it that way because I described Marriage Story that way to you.
Yeah, you did.
Dirty in a different way to where I felt like I needed to walk away and take a shower. Okay. Like,
it was out there.
Yeah, like it was that last scene where all the pictures of the priests and stuff, and I don't even need to say it out loud, but it just it made me cringe. Yeah. I felt wrong.
I was actually working at the Chico's at the time.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because I knew it was coming out, but I saw a preview for it, and I think I went to Target after I got off, and I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what it reminds me of.
I actually must have been working at DeChico's at the same time then, because I rented it at Redbox right after it came out.
Okay, yeah.
You were the guy that I talked to about movies all the time when I worked there too, because I borrowed Tusk from you.
Yep.
And favorite director of all time, it's like his only real horror movie. I love that movie.
Would you consider Red State?
I don't know what I would consider that. I would consider that more thriller, yeah. Okay. Because there are horror aspects, but it's more, it tries to play off of a real thing.
Right.
More than anything, because it tries to play off of the,
Jonestown?
No.
No, it wasn't Jonestown. It was something else.
It's that actual family that, that kind of like church. It's literally like a cult.
Okay, yeah.
I can't think of it off the top of my head. It'll come to me and I'll shout it out later.
I think it's called the Testament, I think is what I'm thinking of. It's kind of based off the Jonestown thing.
I think so.
But that's a different thing entirely. But yeah,
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I hate when that happens, dude.
It's time to fact check.
Because the people that he was basing it off of even protested the movie. It's gonna kill me.
See if I can get the answer.
It's I'm trying to think of the last name of the leader of that church, and I think he actually passed away. But like his granddaughter has defected from the church and everything, and it got really crazy.
It was inspired by the infamous pastor Fred Phelps and the Waco siege.
What's the name of that church group though? Because I know it has a.
Let me look up Pastor Fred Phelps.
Yeah. But I know like they own like a bunch of land, and they pretty much almost feel like they govern themselves. Like
I recognize this guy. The Westboro Baptist Church.
Thank you. I knew. But
okay. I didn't even think of that.
It definitely gave it like a creepy vibe.
Yeah.
Especially because it's based off of realism, and Michael Parks was fantastic in that.
Yeah, he's good at anything he's in.
I was actually sad when he passed away.
Yeah.
Because he was fantastic in Tusk as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even remember where we were, honestly. But like I was saying, you were always the person I would talk to about movies.
Mm.
Because we were talking about Rob Zombie.